So the winter meetings have started. We know Juan Soto signed with the Mets, and we have got some more news coming at you today. Max Fried just signed a massive contract with the New York Yankees, and then Andres Gimenez, former All-Star, Gold Glove Award winner, I think Platinum Glove Award winner even. Yeah, he just got traded to the Toronto Blue Jays as well. So we're going to go over all those moves. I think I also still have to talk about Willy to the Giants. So let me kind of do a little bit of a catch-up, a little bit of a breakdown of everything that's gone on, not named Juan Soto, and give you guys some updates here. So first, Max Fried, 8 years, $218 million contract with the New York Yankees. A massive, massive deal. This is the highest paid contract for a left-handed starting pitcher in Major League Baseball history. Max Fried got absolutely paid, and I feel like the conversation on Twitter is a little bit all over the place. Honestly, initial reaction, first thoughts, good move by the Yankees. I think this was a good move. You could complain about the years. Maybe 8 years is a lot for a guy going into his 31-year-old season next year, but I don't know. Max Fried does get the injury bug tag quite a bit when, in all honesty, he's really only had one season where he was kind of derailed due to injury, and that was back in 2023 when he threw 77 and 2/3 innings. But if you look at his numbers here, 2021 threw 165, 2022 threw 185, 2024 threw 174. So I'm not quite sure where the injury-prone tag is coming from. I think I've even thrown around at times like an idiot, and I remember then just looking into him like, oh, not really actually that injury-prone. Now, I do know he had some forearm issues the previous 2 years. He had a forearm injury earlier this year. He had a forearm injury in 2023. Those are something to monitor, but clearly when Max Fried is healthy, when he's at his best, he's a very good pitcher. I mean, for his career, 884 innings, a 3.07 ERA, a whip at 1.164. And again, this is me applauding the Yankees, maybe one of my least favorite teams ever, for signing a guy who just played against the Mets his entire career. Like, I've seen Max Fried dice up the Mets left and right for the Braves, hated him over there, but he's a good pitcher. I think right now we're getting a little bit caught up on the years for a guy like Max Fried, who also at the same time is not really a power pitcher. He's a guy who has a bunch of good breaking balls, good off-speed stuff, so I don't necessarily think that as he gets older, this is going to be a contract that always is guaranteed to age like milk. Plus, 8 years, $218 million. I think that comes out to about 27 and a quarter every single year in terms of AAV. There are no opt-outs. There are no deferrals. There's no trade clause there for Max Fried. So he's going to be a Yankee foreseeably till the end of his career. Takes you to age 39 for Max Fried. And now this rotation is pretty set for the future, at least on the front side. You got Cole, you got Max Fried, you got Rodon, and then you have Luis Gil as well, who's free for the next few years for the Yankees. Clark Schmidt's still there as a number 5. You still have Marcus Stroman. I know this is like very much a consolation prize because they did not get Juan Soto, and this isn't meant to be me bragging about the Mets getting Juan Soto over the Yankees. That's not the point of this video. But I think if you separate those two scenarios, those two things that just happened, and look at them in a vacuum, I do think Max Fried on the Yankees is a good move. It makes that team better. Now, they definitely need to go get hitting because that lineup is incredibly weak right now. But the thing that I think people aren't necessarily thinking about when they sign Max Fried to this deal is, one, $27.25 million a year AAV is honestly pretty cheap. Like, take a look at the guys who are getting paid similar amounts of money to Max Fried. Like, look at this. Okay, so AAV, Blake Snell, $36 million, Gerrit Cole, $36 million. Those guys are better. Tyler Glasnow, $27, but that was an interesting one. He's a guy who can't stay on the field. Similar, I mean, I think Fried's worse than Glasnow, but Glasnow doesn't stay healthy. Yamamoto's good. Rodon's getting $27 million. I think Fried is better than Rodon. I think that's a more consistent person you can rely on to give you numbers like he has rather than Rodon. Sonny Gray, $25 million. We saw what that was with the Yankees. Wasn't great. Jordan Montgomery, $25 million. Like, yeah, there's going to be some guys that are better, like Aaron Nola in terms of value than Max Fried, just because he's a little bit cheaper and relatively a similar pitcher. But pitching is expensive, guys, and to get Max Fried, who's giving you close to 160, 170 innings a year for $27.25 million over the 8, I don't think is really that bad. I actually think it's a pretty good contract. The length will be the one thing, but we know the Yankees want to spread that money out over years. They don't love to go crazy over the luxury tax threshold, and they want to be able to spend as much money so you don't have to give it to other owners and teams. Your money goes to your players, and the Yankees want to do that. Or you could have signed Max Fried maybe to a 6-year deal, more for like $32 million a year. I think they see the flexibility that the lower AAV gives them as more valuable than worrying about what 37, 38, 39-year-old Max Fried's going to be doing on the mound for the Yankees at that time. And also, I don't know, I don't see it aging that poorly. I actually like this move for the Yankees. I think it was a good one. They're clearly not done spending this offseason. They clearly showed they were willing to spend $700 million. They just took away $200 million of that, which leaves them with about $500 million left that they thought they were going to spend that they still can. I expect them to be aggressive on the first base market. Christian Walker, Pete Alonso. I expect them to look at Alex Bregman. I expect basically every rock to be turned over to make sure that they get the best possible team moving forward. This is crazy for me because I'm very rarely pro Yankees and positive here, but I really do like this move, and I think it's getting a lot of flack when it's not necessarily deserved. I also want to be known, look at Max Fried's ground ball rate, 96th percentile, 59.2%. He does give up hard contact for a guy who's going to be pitching in a bandbox in Yankee Stadium. This is huge. No home runs, keeps the ball on the ground, strikes out still about 25% of the batters he faces, so 75% of the outs he gets come on the ground or by strikeout. That feels like a recipe for success for Max Fried and the Yankees. I do like this move. The other move that just happened today that we got told by Jeff Passan and Ken Rosenthal and all those guys, Andres Gimenez traded for the Cleveland Guardians to the Toronto Blue Jays. And this one to me is a bit of a head scratcher for the Blue Jays. I don't understand why Andres Gimenez was the guy. Now, let's talk about the positives with Gimenez. Defensively, awesome. He's amazing at second base. The best defensive second baseman, arguably, in Major League Baseball. He's won a Platinum Glove. He's shown at times that he can hit better than he has the last few years. But that is the concern here. Defensively, no doubt, he's going to be a wizard at second base. And maybe he can even play shortstop if you need him to, but second base, he's phenomenal. Offensively, you've seen the numbers fall off. He had that amazing 2022. You're never going to see him play like that again. There's just no way. He's not that kind of player. The 2 years after that, below average hitter in 2023. Much more below average hitter in 2024. That's the concerning thing. And then the cherry on top, which makes this really confusing, besides the fact that Gimenez has declined as a player the last few years offensively. His contract's crazy. I think I tweeted out like last summer or during the summer, like, wait, Andres Gimenez is getting paid how much money? Yeah, Andres Gimenez is due $10 million next year, which whatever, that's fine. 15 in 2026, and then it goes up to 2023. In 2027, 2028, 2029, with a $23 million team option in 2030, which will not get picked up. That's an insane amount of money to give to a defensive first second baseman. I don't get it from the Blue Jay standpoint at all. They gave up Spencer Horwitz, who I think is a solid little depth player, and I don't necessarily think you're going to be hurting by any means trading Andres Gimenez or trading for Andres Gimenez and getting rid of Spencer Horwitz. They also grabbed Nick Sandlin from the Cleveland Guardians, who's a nice little relief pitcher as well to help with that bullpen. But this one to me is a head scratcher. This just feels like unnecessary, unwarranted money that the Blue Jays are taking on for a guy who the floor is super high because, again, elite defensively, like he is going to be a 3-4 win player. I just wonder if that $100 million and eventually the $23 million a year that they're going to spend on Gimenez could be used elsewhere. To me, doesn't really move the needle if you're a Blue Jays fan, if you're a fan of Toronto, if you're a fan of Cleveland. You're kind of like, thank you. Like, Gimenez, you were great for us. You did about as well as you could have. Definitely lost the Lindor trade, but you were great, and now we don't have to pay that contract, and we just freed up all this money. I think that's good for Cleveland, and I don't necessarily love it for Toronto. But I'd love to know what you guys think about that move down in the comment section below. I've seen more on the Max Fried stuff than I have Andres Gimenez. And then last but certainly not least, let's briefly talk about the great move the Giants made, signing Willy Adames to that massive contract. 7 years, $182 million, which comes out to an AAV of $26 million a year for Willy Adames. Again, if we're looking at contracts similar to his at the same position, let's just go take a look. At shortstop right now, he's making about the same as Trey Turner. Mookie Betts doesn't really count. Corey Seager's making $5 million more a year. Carlos Correa is making $33 million a year. Willy Adames prior to this was making $12.5 million, but that's going to be for this year because I guess with signing bonus and whatnot. But Trevor Story's 23, Javi Baez, Dansby Swanson. This seems like a really good move for the Giants. I feel like everybody has been talking about it positively. This is a move they needed to make. They needed a shortstop. I know Tyler Fitzgerald was decent last year, but Willy Adames is just way better. I mean, he's a top 10 shortstop in the game. Great defensively, gives you good power. That left side of the infield is disgusting with Matt Chapman and Willy Adames now. Buster Posey seems like he has a plan. He knows what he wants to do in order to build the Giants back up to being a successful contending team. And getting it started with Willy Adames, their guy, was a fantastic move. I'm interested to see what his numbers look like offensively there, but defensively, it's going to be great. And even still, I think he's probably like a, 25 home run a year guy as opposed to 32. He's a good ball player. So those are all the moves I wanted to cover that have happened in the last few days that are worth covering at all. I mean, there's been some smaller moves, but not going to say any of those or talk about really much rumors-wise. My brain's kind of been mushed since the Mets signed Juan Soto, and I've been working on the 12 days of MLB ranking, so apologies apologies if the videos have been a little more sporadic, but we do have kind of a marathon coming up here in the next few days. I hope you did enjoy my takes on Max Fried, Willy Adames, Andres Gimenez. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content coming at you. Follow me on all my social media, GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in description. And that's where I'll wrap it up, guys. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye.